When I got the call, I was actually randomly on break, and usually when I'm on set filming, my phone is on silent because obviously I don't want my phone ringing while somebody's rolling a camera. So it was almost perfect timing and alignment when I got the call, so I answered the phone. And I was training at the time. I had already put in my mind and put on the schedule to fight 4 times next year, 4 different forms of combat, and just really be extremely active. So I was already training, kind of getting battle ready to take a fight in January. And I was on break on set doing a film. So when I got the call, it probably took 20 seconds for me to say yes. And, now we're here.
That's terrific. All right, let's go to our first question from Jim Conlon. Jim, please identify your outlet and go ahead.
Hi, Tyrone. This is Jim Conlon here from RCB Radio Sport Ireland. Tyrone, I'm just wondering, in terms of the fight, obviously you're delighted to be fighting Jake again, but in terms of Tommy Fury, does that really concern you? Do you think he really backed down for the fight? If you were in his position, would you have fought on?
I mean, I don't know the circumstance. I don't know his position. To be honest, I feel like things happen the way they're supposed to happen. I feel like this is a fight that should have been taking place anyway. This is a fight that more people are excited about. It's kind of funny that fight was set up for December the 18th, and more people were talking about a rematch with me and Jake anyway. So I feel things happen in time and purpose for a reason, and I'm just more so focusing on that. So I never wish bad upon anybody. I don't want anybody to get hurt, so I can step forward. So I don't really have much to say about Tommy Fury. I'm not in his camp. I don't really know him. And it really, not to sound mean, but I really don't care about, his reason and the rationale for not taking the fight. I'm just here and I'm ready, willing, and, trying to go out there and knock his head off.
And finally, for me, Tyrone, is revenge the driving motive for you heading into this fight? Obviously, there's an awful lot of talk between both parties, but you obviously feel aggrieved from the first fight. Is that revenge? Is it driving you? Is it driving that motivation, making you work harder in the gym, making you work 10 times harder for this fight?
You very few times do you get a chance to go back and redo something. Sometimes you sit there and you live in regret, like, dang, man, I felt like I won the fight. Maybe I could have did this a little bit different. Maybe if I would have, threw a few more punches here. So now I get the opportunity to go back and undo what was already done. So that's something that drives me without even any additional money, any additional sold-out crowd. So the fact that Jake Paul can walk around and say he beat me fucking just boils my skin and blood and everything inside of my body. So I'm trying to go out there and just make it clear that, I'm the better fighter, I'm the harder puncher, and I'm the professional out here.
Best of luck, Tyron.
Thank you.
I think the aptly titled then, Leave No Doubt. So congratulations to Nikisa Badarian and Jake for coming up with that one. Let's go to Damon Martin, MMA fighting.
Tyron, thank you for the time. We heard that you were preparing for a fight in January. You were in training camp. We heard that maybe you kind of had a feeling that Tommy was going to fall out of the fight. Like, how well prepared are you for this fight?
I'm gonna look like the better conditioner fighter, and I promise you that when you watch this fight, it won't look like I stepped in on last minute notice. It won't look like he was a person that was prepared and in shape, and I just jumped in for a bag and jumped in the heavy car. It's gonna look like I'm gonna be in better shape, just like it was the first time. I was the one that was walking him down. I was the one that was really putting him against the ropes. He was the one that was huffing and puffing. So when people start talking about youth and things of that nature, I think this is going to be the same thing. For me, I didn't have a lot of footage to break down on Jake. I didn't have a lot of sparring sessions. I didn't have a lot of fights. Most of his fights ended fairly quickly. So now I actually been in there with him. I felt his power. I felt the things that, he did well, and also felt the things that I did to him that he didn't like so much. So now I got 8 rounds to break down, make adjustments. And we all know nobody's better at rematching than me.
Of course, Jake made a big deal about the $500,000 knockout bonus. At the end of the day, listen, I know you don't like Jake, but I don't think there was ever a clause in the contract saying you couldn't knock him out. But does that add any extra, any extra motivation to go out there and earn an extra $500,000 to knock him out?
I mean, at the end of the day, you put a bag on your own head. Shit, I'm completely all about taking that free money. So I had plans on doing that anyway. If you want to entice me a little bit more, offer a kid from Ferguson another half a bag to go out there and do what he wanted to do anyway. So yeah, it does put motivation. When people say that I'm not motivated by placebo on that one too. Yeah, so like I said before I start the answer again, you don't put a bounty on your own fucking head and think I'm not gonna take it. So for sure, I'm motivated by money. I'm motivated by legacy. I'm motivated by greatness, and I'm motivated by redemption. So when people say, "Oh, it's not about the money for me," they're fucking lies. Like, why would you be prize fighting if you didn't want to get a prize? And sometimes it's about the principle. If you feel like you're at a certain level, you feel like you're at a certain, point of your life and your career, you want the bag to match where you feel like you're at. It's kind of just a principle matter behind it. So definitely it's additional motivation, and you'll see me walking away with another 500,000.
And last one for me, Tyron. The last fight, it was very, very close. And of course, you came the closest to finishing the fight with the knockdown and nearly putting him through the ropes in the one round.
As you called it what it was, because the referee surely didn't.
What do you feel like was the biggest mistake you made in that fight that's going to be the difference in this fight?
I feel like it was times where I made a miss, but I didn't make a pay. I'm not going to go into technique, and I'm not going to go into game plan. But I feel like it was times that he could have had a more stern consequence for even trying to hit me. So that's the one thing that I can pick out. If I change that, I feel like the fight is. I feel like I won the fight anyway. I kind of watched the fight really for the first time yesterday, and I won rounds 4 through 8. That's five of the 8 rounds. So I don't understand how I can win 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And he still won the fight, even not with counting the 10th round in the 4th round. So add those little small tweaks in there, a little bit more volume, and I think we'll see me get the knockout.
Thanks, Tyron.
Okay, thanks, Damon. Let's go to Donna Corby across the way. Donna, please identify yourself, your outlet.
Hey, Donna Corby from the Daily Mirror. Tyron, I wanted to ask about your initial plans before this fight was put on. First off, you were on the set of a movie, correct? Are you still filming?
I'm still filming. Yes, I'm still filming my rap tomorrow, so I've got one more day.
So you were on set of a movie, just like Michael Bisping was, I suppose, when he had that famous fight with Luke Rockhold, and he took it on short notice. And you had also said you were planning on fighting 4 times next year in 4 different disciplines. Is that still the plan, or will it have to be 3 now, considering you probably can't fight in January?
No, to be honest, like, I don't want to look ahead, but I'm not losing to Jake Paul. I didn't lose him to the first time, and this time I'm finishing the fight. I don't want no referee. I don't want no hometown advantage. I don't want no let's let the storyline continue type shit happening at all. So what it's going to do is it's probably going to set us up to fight a 3rd time, and I'm just going to replace the boxing fight I anticipated fight next year. Is going to be a fight with Jake instead. So I'm still going to fight 4 times. I'm still going to fight 4 different forms of combat. But the boxing fight that I was, being prepared to fight for, that fight will just be replaced with a trilogy with Jake.
Without saying too much, is Dan Hardy going to be disappointed to hear that news?
I mean, Dan Hardy, why are we even talking about Dan Hardy? We're talking about Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul, the biggest fighter of the year. So let's respect myself and respect Jake Paul, because we're the ones that put the asses in the seats. Dan Hardy ain't touched the face in 10 years.
Last one from me. Could you show us the tattoo? Could we see the infamous? But it is
I'll
real.
show you the other end of it, though. The tattoo's right on the back, though.
Thank you very much, Tyron.
You got it.
All right, thank you, Donna. Let's go to Gabriel Montoya. Gabriel, go ahead.
Hi, it's Gabriel Montoya with Ring Magazine. Thank you for your time, Mr. Woodley. You were very outspoken after the first fight and before it that you felt Jake Paul was on PEDs. It's come to my attention he has Memo Heredia, a former PED dealer, in his camp, who's now like a strength coach. Is there testing for this fight with VADA or USADA, and does that concern you?
I always want an even playing field. I asked him straight up. I don't want to go around and I don't know who the guy you mentioned. I'm not fighting him. I'm fighting Jake. So when we did the face-to-face, I asked him directly to his face, as the man, was he on PEDs? And his answer to me was no. So there will be testing. There's stuff in the contract about testing. I don't feel like it changed the fight if he was on PEDs. But, obviously you want to even playing field. So I'm a big believer in testing. I've never even seen a fucking PED that's not throwing one in my body. I feel like when your time is up, your body doesn't allow you to compete at the level, that's your time to walk away. And I pray that you've done everything that you were supposed to do with the time frame that you've had. Not try to add another few combinations of punches or conditioning or tolerance due to PED. So I can't really answer that question. I don't know what he's doing. I can only ask him the question as a man. When I asked him, his answer was no. And hopefully the testing reflects the same thing.
Did you see anything in looking back at your fight with him in particular that you feel, obviously you're not going to give away your game plan, but did you see glaring things that he did or that you did that you can change in this rematch?
As I said earlier, I just feel like, there was times in the earlier round 1 through 3 where, he was keeping busy and it wasn't like he was really landing anything damaging. There was no time where he hit me with a punch that made the referee want to get in there or made it look like I was going to go down. He punches hard. One thing you'll find out about me is I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it straight down the middle no matter what it is. I'm not going to act like Jake Paul does not punch hard. I'm not going to act like he does not have the ability. He does have punching power. And I feel like he hit me with 4 shots that I can actually remember myself. I'm pretty sure if I go back and break down the film, it probably was more than that. But he hit me with punches that I know may have sent others down to the canvas. So with that said, I just got to make him pay a little bit more. When he goes out there and try to stay busy, I feel like if I would have done it in the first couple rounds, he would have won a round and would set him up, to be knocked out.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck in the fight.
All right, Gabe, thank you. Let's go to Stephen Milhausen with DAZN. Stephen?
What was the reasoning behind just watching the first fight yesterday?
I mean, this fight wasn't announced 7 weeks ago. So, the first thing first is jump your ass into sparring and running and conditioning. Training and sharpening the tools and being in shape is one thing, but specifying your training towards a specific person, that's what I actually started doing first. My coach knows very well what he did in the fight, also what I did in the fight. So the sparring partners for the last fight came in. We started doing that first last night. We had an opportunity to calm things down because we kind of hit the ground running, and then we went to watch the film and evaluate it. So from that point, I actually got a chance to watch it and check out some of the rounds.
He was very complimentary to you the other day about the fact that you did take the fight. And do you have any newfound respect for him? The fact that he could have said no, he could have dropped out of the fight. So is there any respect there in the fact that he's also taking this fight on short notice with you?
I mean, I never really said anything that wasn't true. Everything that I said I was going to do in the last fight, I did. He got hit with culture. He got hit with a shitload of punches. He was the one that was backing up, and I was the one that was walking him down. Jay got a screw loose. We all know that. So it doesn't surprise me. We all also knew that he would be a kid that could probably get hit with punches and just, even if it hurts, it's all a part of his gag. This was a bucket list. Let's be real. This was a bucket list that he converted into a career. So for the storyline, for the sake of, the movie that we're making, we're in a movie. This is a movie, guys. It's like Rocky in real life. So for this, I don't think he or his team will pass up on opportunity because everybody thinks he's scared of him. Even after, the bets and all the, shenanigans and the split decision and all the naysayers to him saying that I really won the fight, that, was hometown judging, he would have to make this right. He would have to rectify the moment. Your opponent's out. I'm willing. I'm ready to fight. Had I came out publicly and said that, he not taking the fight, everything that he says, all this, I'm a real fighter, Jazz, all that stuff's out the window. So I think for that storyline and also the saving card, which I don't realize we're fighting, but it's really entertainment. It's not so much fighting. Fighting is what we're doing when you're watching us entertain. But the interviews, the press, the media, the training camp, the funds that you put into that. Nobody want to just waste that shit. So I can't speak for Jake. I really only know Jake from, the press conferences and one-on-ones, him as an athlete and fighter. I don't know him personally, so I don't know what his motivation really is. That's the question you might want to ask him in the case.
If you do what you expect to do next Saturday night, you're gonna get rid of that tattoo now because, in all honesty, you won the rematch.
I mean, to be honest, I strolled the troll. I put the tattoo in a place where powerlifting and bench pressing and turf and bear crawls and nothing on your body you watch more than your hands. It was kind of like, I'll get the tattoo, but it's going to wear down anyway. And I really don't mind it. If my dog's made a bet with me, I'm going to honor that bet. It's a part of the story. It's a part of the deal. Nobody can say shit to me. I probably beat your ass anyway. So if anybody in public, like, oh, I can't believe you have no bet, you're probably broke and you're probably not chasing your dream because you're spending a lot of time on the internet dumbing around and telling me what I should do. So I feel like if he would have lost the bet, I feel like he would have gotten a tattoo, or he would have never made the bet. So it doesn't really bother me. Like my legacy and what I've done in combat sports, what I've done in combat sports and what I'm going to continue to do is submit it. So I'm not really focused on all the naysayers and everything like that.
All right, that's great. I think we've got
Thank
time
you,
for
Tyron,
one.
and see you next week in Tampa.
All right, cool.
All right, Stephen, thanks. We got time for one more. Let's go to Richard Diosio. Richard with MMA Examiner.
Your prediction on this, how does it end and when does it end?
My prediction is a knockout. You know what I mean? When that happens depends on him. Depends on how much damage he can take, how much violence he can endure, and the openings. I'm not gonna just sit here and say I'm gonna knock him out in the first round. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna give away my game plan, but it's really based upon what I would do if I was him. And I'm making my game plan off of that. So I don't see him just opening up and giving big openings in the first round. So I'm gonna look for him. If they're there, I'm gonna take them. But I feel like this fight's gonna end in a knockout.